Today I fucked up by accidentally edging too hard. Obligatory. This didn't happen today. It was a normal day while I was home alone and I got unexpectedly horny all of a sudden. The thing is, I knew I would be alone for a long time because my mom was visiting family in another city. Anyway, I get down to business and get on the verge and keep doing this for about 2 hours. When I decide fuck it and blow my load, I swear it was the most amount of nut I've ever seen, but it was over quickly because I passed out. I woke up with a towel over me and nut all over my stomach, and my mom, who was back quicker than she was supposed to, and she brought the family over. It was the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me, and there was a live audience with front row seats to the reason I can't sleep at night. I never lived it down and people still tease me to this day. Too long did not read. I nutted so hard that I passed out and my mom and some family walked in on me with nut everywhere. You couldn't torture this information out of me. Bust the nut but never let the nut bust you. Why weren't you doing this in your room? Bruh. Go see a doctor if you pass out while busting a fat nut. You might have blood pressure issues. Should have told her, there was a ghost. This is ectoplasm. My man busted himself. Today I fucked up by not checking my emails. I now owe Amazon thousands of dollars. This whole thing started back in June, but it was only last night I realized the consequences of my bad habits. I have had in my head for a while the idea of creating a family website for my mom's side of the family, and decided to try playing around with options on how to set things up and start mocking the page itself. I can't quite remember what I did at this point, but I do remember reading instructions that specifically called out closing everything down when you were done with your session because you link to a live Oz account and use services they will charge for after a certain point. Ha, I said, I'm always diligent with closing everything when I'm done. I won't fall into that trap. Well, fast forward to now. I haven't picked up the website stuff since that one weekend, my first bad habit. And I'm finally going through my 14,000 plus unread emails in my inbox, my second bad habit. I come across this strange email from Oz. Your bill is past due. I open it up and can't believe my eyes. I owe Amazon nearly $7,500. In a panic, I log into my Oz account thinking for sure I was hacked and I can dispute the charges. Then I look at the activity log, and what do you know? This Fargate instance was spun up in June, right around the time I was arrogantly assuring myself I knew how to clean up after playing with new toys. The thing you have to remember about Oz services is they charge usage over time, so even if you have no data, activity, the fact that something is still turned on, means that the money meter is still running 24/7. I have now force-closed every possible thing in my Oz account that could cost me. I'm not really ready to close my account full stop, but looks like I will have another $2,000 owed to them at the end of August. By sheer luck, the card I had added to my Oz account had expired. Otherwise the surprise would have been in a much worse place, my bank account. Had I been good about my email, I also could have caught this at the end of June, when the balance was only $1,000 or so. I can absorb this hit, but man, it pisses me off because I was just getting my debt back under control. Too long did not read. I messed around with Oz services in June without properly shutting them down, proceeded to miss the overdue payment notices for roughly 2 months by not checking my email, and found out last night that I owe Amazon roughly $9,000 all told. I would highly recommend pleading your case to AWS support. They have been known to potentially cut the amount in half or even completely. They will be able to see that you have no activity, even though the instance has been running. Another thing to check out is you can set a monthly limit that will suspend your Oz services once you reach a certain dollar amount. As someone who uses AWS all the time for work, we barely use $200 a month. You done seriously fucked up. We pay $200 a month for AWS at work to run our servers. What in the hell did you have spun up to rack up that kind of bill so fast? Today I fucked up by posting a video on Reddit that went viral. Last year, I'd posted this video of my then boyfriend of 2.5 years returning from his deployment, and our relationship ended days after. Some backstory. We started dating, he enlisted, he's in the pipeline, we lived together, he graduated, he got orders, and we planned to move together. My items and his were sent off in a cube to the other side of the country while I stayed with my sister and brother-in-law during his deployment in our home state. I was working on grad school, my mental health, etc. And couldn't work a long-term job because I'd have to leave it so soon. Staying with them was a huge privilege I was given, and I don't take their graciousness and generosity lightly. I was ready to leave though. He'd been gone for 7 months and drove down to my house from his city during his short leave. I'd later learn that in his home city, he'd kissed his ex, propositioned her for sex, and during deployment, asked her to move with him to the state where my things were already waiting. When we were together, he was snapping this girl from his ship and they had several months' worth of a snap streak. I know it's superficial, but we couldn't maintain one. I tried putting the moves on multiple times but he kept rejecting me because of some rash he had on his, pinching hand. He got upset when he learned I didn't want to spend one of my few days in California in a hotel room with 2 girls from his ship. We later compromised on brunch and it was like I didn't exist and was wrong for it. His girl paid for the bill and he was quick to send her money and we left. He was still concerned about his rash, so we walked to a clinic. He didn't stay long, claiming his insurance didn't transfer from one coast to another and couldn't afford testing. I returned home and posted the video, excited he was back. He was getting anxious as it grew in popularity and news outlets were reaching out for interviews. I kept telling him and asking if he'd be down to sharing our story and the video. 1 week later, we'd chosen a place to live and were ready to sign the lease. He calls me from a hotel room and says, "I can't do this. I've never been in love with you, you've only ever been a friend. You were an afterthought and not much more, and you know this. You were a roommate I slept with. You were the most supportive girlfriend I've ever had, but it's not enough." I FaceTimed him and saw someone with dry eyes and a flat face. I asked, "Why aren't you crying like I am?" "Because I don't care about you the way you do about me. I never have and I feel like this makes it clear." Shortly after he started dating the girl I met at brunch. In retrospect, we were doomed to fail and he was full of red flags but he felt familiar. I thought I felt loved but I had to work hard for it. I posted that video in excitement and instead he broke up with me and his mom had to drive 6 hours each way to pick up his truck from my house. He sent my things down but most of it was damaged beyond use. It's been a lot of work to rebuild my life but things are much, much better. That video made me feel a lot of regret, embarrassment, and grief but I'm glad it happened when it did. TLDR. Boyfriend ended relationship after pressure from video brought too much attention to the fact we were dating. Edit. Formatting and clarity. Yes, that is urine. What? What urine? Incredibly painful. And just disrespectful of him to continue the relationship for so long. I'm very sorry for you, and I hope your life is or will soon be on steady tracks again. 3. But even unbelievable painful moments like this one deliver a positive input. Now you're free. You will find the next person. And you will be loved like you deserve it. Best of wishes. 3. Stay strong and keep growing. Edit. And what the fuck did he do with your belongings? Why the hell are they damaged like that? Came here for the urine. There was no urine. Girl. If he had a rash on his manly parts he likely contracted an STD from someone. He was too cowardly to admit to what he had done and chose breaking up with you. You dodged a bullet. Today I fucked up by accidentally leaving the door open. So I, 21F, have recently started working as an exotic dancer. I live interstate to all of my friends and family and one of my best friends, 21M, came to visit for a week. We've known each other for 5-6 years and are completely platonic, but no one knows about my work, not even him. I have a 3-bedroom place, and use the second room as a walk-in robe and storage space, which has a temporary stripper pole in place, cleared with landlord. The third is my office I use for studying for uni. He is staying in the office on a camping bed I have in there. I also work as a carer during the day, so I told him I was going for a night shift for that. While getting ready in the wardrobe, I had my hair and makeup mostly done, was going to finish the rest at work, so it's not as obvious, and was doing some stretches and warming up in the lingerie I was going to wear and doing a few turns around the pole, etc. That's when he opened the door. While I was upside down on the pole with my legs up. I realized I must have left the door like 1% open, enough it didn't click shut, so it opened right up, it doesn't have a lock. He saw everything. The outfits, the pole, me. He apologized for intruding and quickly left to his room and now won't talk to me or open the door. I'm not sure what to do now, and I'm scared he might tell my other friends or family, since it's something I don't want anyone knowing, and I'm worried he will not be my friend anymore now he knows. Too long did not read. My friend, Who doesn't know about my work, is staying over at mine and opened the door on me while I was warming up for work as a stripper. I think the best option would be talking to him. He should understand if he is a good friend. If you really want to save face and you're certain it'll go bad if you tell the truth, you could always lie and say that you do it for exercise. He may just feel absolutely terrible. I would communicate. As Dan Savage says, you told them one thing about yourself and their reaction will tell you everything you need to know about them. In some of your comments you said he's modest, and I suspect he's not only dealing with, she's a stripper, but also, I saw my friend naked and got a boner and now she'll hate me. I mean, I know you weren't naked, but if he's having a panicked reaction he won't be rational. Secondary possibility. I saw a naked woman and didn't get a boner. If he's male, he'll get over it and thank you for the show. Poor guy is in the friend zone.